A modern big rig runs high-pressure common rail injectors at 30,000 pounds per square inch or more, with hair-fine tolerances. Diesel has no ethanol. The real killers are deposits, water, lost lubricity, and stale fuel. 6 fuel situations silently shorten injector and pump life. 2 actually protect them. A single set of high-pressure common rail injectors can run into the thousands. The fuel decides how soon. In the 6th place, wrong season diesel puts a rig on borrowed time the moment temperatures drop below the fuel's cold flow limits. Paraffin wax starts to crystallize as soon as the fuel cools past its cloud point, and those wax crystals collect on the filter surface. The first sign is usually a sluggish start or lazy throttle response, not a total no start. As the filter plugs, the lift pump works harder, and rail pressure dips, straining the high-pressure side. If the fuel is not blended for winter with no additives and no number 1 cut, you are risking a shutdown long before the gauge hits empty. Seasonal blending is not a luxury, it is table stakes for keeping fuel moving and injectors fed in cold weather. In the 5th place, off-spec high biodiesel blends create a perfect storm for high-pressure common rail system damage when the blend, season, and source are not controlled. Most engine makers draw the line at B20 for a reason. Go higher, and you are dealing with fuel that pulls in more water from the air, raising the odds of microbial growth inside tanks and lines. The higher the biodiesel content, the sooner cold weather gelling starts, stranding rigs even before a normal diesel would have trouble. Oxidation is another silent killer here. As these blends age, they form acids that attack injector metering surfaces, corroding the precise parts that keep spray patterns sharp. Without strict quality control, high-blend biodiesel can turn a fuel system into a chemical battleground, leaving injectors and pumps vulnerable to corrosion, deposits, and early failure. In the 4th place, cheap ultra-low sulfur diesel without a lubricity additive is a silent killer for high-pressure common rail systems. When sulfur gets stripped out by hydrodesulfurization, the fuel loses the natural compounds that used to keep pump plungers and injector needles gliding on a thin protective film. What's left might pass the eye test, clear and clean and low on visible contaminants, but it's rough on metal where it counts. The industry relies on the HFRR wear scar test. ASTM D975 sets the limit at 520 microns, while Europe's EN590 tightens it to 460. Discount or untreated fuel can hit 600 microns or worse. Over time, that means scuffing, fine scoring, and a slow drop in injection pressure. The wear isn't dramatic at first, but it's relentless, leading to pump failures and injector leaks that show up long before the odometer says it's time. In the 3rd place, stale diesel from low-volume stations is a silent threat that starts degrading before it ever reaches the truck. When fuel sits too long in storage, oxidation kicks in, forming peroxides and sticky gums that settle out as sludge. These slow turnover tanks become breeding grounds for microbes at the fuel-water interface, leading to colonies of diesel bug that churn out more sludge and acids. The first sign in the field is usually a plugged primary filter. Engine starts to starve, pressure drops, and the truck loses power. CRC research documented a single outbreak at a rural station that forced a fleet-wide cleanup, with remediation bills topping $25,000. The damage is baked in before you even hit the pump. By the time you notice, the filters are already choking on the fallout. In the 2nd place, water-contaminated fuel is a direct hit to any high-pressure common rail system. Water does not stay mixed in diesel. It settles at the bottom of storage tanks, waiting for the next tanker drop to stir it into suspension. When that happens, the dispenser can send a slug of water and sediment straight into your fuel system. The first casualty is lubricity. Water strips away the protective film diesel is supposed to provide, leaving metal-to-metal contact inside pumps and injectors. Corrosion risk jumps immediately, and once a wet layer is present, microbes find the perfect breeding ground. That is not just a nuisance. Microbial growth leads to filter plugging and acid byproducts that eat away at injector surfaces. Filling during or right after a tanker delivery should be treated as a contamination event, not a harmless coincidence. One bad fill can set off a chain of failures that haunt the truck for months. And finally, in first place, uncertified bargain diesel with low detergency is the quietest way to destroy modern injectors. High-pressure common rail systems run at over 30,000 pounds per square inch, with spray holes so fine that deposits measured in microns will change the entire injection event. When fuel lacks a certified detergent package, carbon and ash settle onto the injector tips and nozzle sacs instead of staying suspended. Over time, this hard residue skews the spray angle, increases droplet size, and leads to incomplete combustion. The engine starts making more soot, losing power and running rough, but it usually will not quit outright. The real damage is slow and expensive. Hard tip fouling can cut injector life from 400,000 miles down to 150,000 miles. When replacement time comes, a full injector set can cost $3,000 to $6,000, not counting downtime. Low detergency fuel hides the problem until the repair bill lands, making it the costliest mistake in the long run. Shell Diesel Extra, sometimes labeled V-Power Diesel, puts the focus on deposit control and everyday protection, not just marketing. The real advantage here is an additive package designed to keep injector tips and nozzle sacs cleaner over time, which matters when you are running HPCR injectors at 30,000 pounds per square inch. Shell's formula aims to limit carbon buildup, maintain lubricity, and keep water and fine particulates suspended so they do not settle out in the system. Independent United Kingdom testing has shown up to a 5% bump in fuel economy. But the real value is in system longevity. With broad coverage across major truck stop networks in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, Shell Diesel Extra is one of the few options that consistently aligns with the top-tier diesel standard, an OEM-backed benchmark for deposit control, lubricity, and fuel stability. And finally, Chevron Diesel with Techron D stands out for drivers who want clear, direct fuel system cleaning with every fill. Techron D isn't just another premium label. It's a concentrated cleaner built around polyethylamine and polybutylamine detergents, both proven to break down stubborn carbon deposits inside injectors and fuel rails. The formula also targets corrosion, helping to keep metal surfaces free from the pitting and rust that shorten component life. Chevron's pitch is straightforward: cleaner injectors, protected pumps, and fewer surprise repairs. It's not a miracle cure, but for owner-operators running HPCR systems, using a fuel that actively removes deposits and guards against corrosion is a practical way to extend service intervals and avoid the slow creep of performance loss. Across every fuel choice, one pattern stands out. Real diesel damage comes from chemistry, not ethanol myths. Deposits, water, and lost lubricity are the real culprits. Protecting HPCR systems means knowing what's in your tank. Subscribe for more straight answers.